All right, good evening, guys, and welcome to today's Safeoclock Health and Safety Interactive Workshop. So, like our culture has been, we'll start with a presentation, and after the presentation, then we'll give room for others to contribute and share their experience while on the topic selected for today. So, without wasting time, let's get into the discussion. Today's topic is machine guiding and equipment safety, just like we shared, and that is what we'll be talking about today. So I will take the next few minutes to present a few slides on this topic. After that, we can share our personal experience. It could be some incidents as a result of poor machine guiding, or it could be some knowledge, anything, any information that we can pass across to others, or even some learning points, or even questions. We can ask questions and we can share the answers by ourselves. If we cannot answer it, then we can make further consultations. That is why we are here, just to learn from each other. So in this few presentation today, I'll be talking about So in my presentation today, I'll be talking about, I'll look at some of the definition of machine guiding. I'll talk about why it's important to provide machine guiding. I'll also talk about some regulations in relation to machine and equipment guides. Then I will then look at some hazardous mechanical motions, actions, and hazards associated with use of mechanical equipment or machines. So these are the few topics I'll be covering today in these few minutes. So let's look at what do we mean by machine guiding. It refers to safety features that are implemented either on equipment or around manufacturing equipment. So either the safety feature is implemented on the equipment or is implemented around the equipment to guide the worker or the person, the operator, protect the operator from having contact with the rotating parts or the hazardous parts of that equipment. So the purpose of machine guiding is to protect the operator from the machine, as well as protect the machine from the operator. So to have, from the operator to have contact with the hazardous areas or the hazards created from the equipment machine's operation. So those hazards associated with the operation of the equipment, machine guiding is purposely implemented to ensure that we prevent those the operator having contact with those hazardous areas of the machine. So that is the main purpose of having machine guiding. Okay, so this machine guide creates a barrier between the equipment or between the machine and the operator. And creating this barrier increases the possibility of reducing the tendency of having incident or having injury while operating the machine. So we'll be looking at the importance or why it's important to implement machine guide or to use machine guide. The first one is it helps to reduce injury. Of course, having machine guide in place will prevent the operator body getting in contact with the hazardous part of that machine, and thereby preventing any unforeseen incident or any accident. Another reason is, or another important is, it gives the operator peace of mind. if the operator is aware that he's properly protected and he's properly kept safe away from those hazardous areas or those hazardous parts of the equipment, then he will have peace of mind and he can comfortably do his job without any fear of risk. Another important is it helps in preventing damage to the machine, because if the machine guard is not in place, the operator could have access to those equipment and could tamper with them, could also cause damage, maybe do some manipulations on that machine. So if the guard is in place, then it will prevent the operator having access to those important parts of the machine, and thereby preventing tampering with the important parts of the machine, and the machine itself will be safe and will not be damaged. That is another importance. Another importance of this machine guard is it helps to meet regulatory requirements. So machine guards, there are certain regulations that are in place. We are going to see that in a few slides away. There are certain regulations that are kept in place to ensure that employers comply with, so that operators of these machines are protected from injuries and accidents. So having these guards in place enables the employer to comply with this legal requirement and thereby avoiding any repercussions or any non-compliance from the local authorities. So another important reason why machine guards are in place is it gives the operator confidence. The confidence that the operator is familiar with this machine, because there is a regulation in place which every employer is following, or every manufacturer of the equipment is following. So any operator that has operated a certain equipment in the past is also confident that he can operate the same equipment in another workplace, because this regulation has been implemented and the employers are complying with the regulations, making the operator familiar with that machine or familiar with that equipment. So in every workplace or in every industry or every different locations where he goes to, he finds that that equipment is similar to the one he has operated before. So it gives him confidence that the components are intact and the machine is as he expects it to be. So another importance of having machine guards in place is it helps to promote performance. So machine guarding gives confidence to even the employer themselves that the machine is up to standard and the operator has no reason to default, and maybe the job will not be stopped, and there will be no unforeseen circumstances because the machine was properly guided and there's nobody tampering with it. The operator have no access to those important components to tamper with them. Another importance of having machine guard is it helps to give unobstructed tasks. This simply means that the operator will not be having maybe leftovers or maybe off cuts from the activities, obstructing his view or obstructing where he is working, and he will not have time to be clearing out issues because the machine has prevented those things. The guard has prevented those things from coming out onto unwanted areas. So the task keeps moving on because he's not stopping to clear up the mess created by the machine if not guided. So this is another important reason why machine guards are in place. Another important reason is it keeps the work environment tidy, because the guards will not allow this mess or these materials coming out of the machine. So it will not create mess in the work environment, and the work location will be well tidied and safe as well. So let's look at some of the regulations for machine guiding. The first one, we'll talk about OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration for US. So this regulation, 29 CFR 1910 subpart 0, machinery and machine guiding. So this regulation states that one or more methods of machine guiding must be used to protect operators and other employees from hazards, including those created by point of operation, in-running nip points, rotating parts, and flying chips and sparks. So this is OSHA regulation that mandates employers to ensure that there is a machine guard in place to protect the employees and to protect the operators when those operations, machine operations are in place. Okay, now for UK, the Provision and Use of Work Equipment Regulation 1998, PUA, is the regulation that is in charge of equipment and machines regulation. So this regulation ensures that employers implement effective measures to prevent access to hazardous machine parts or hot machine movement before personnel can enter danger zones. So this regulation, this PUA regulation, ensures that machine guards are in place and suitable risk assessment and risk control measures are in place to prevent operators or other employees from getting injury from machines with operational parts. So some of the hazardous mechanical motions associated with machines. So we'll be looking at few of them. We'll look at motions, the rotating, reciprocating, transverse motion. We'll look at cutting, punching, shearing, and bending. So there are other mechanical hazards associated with use of equipment. So we'll just look at few of them, and I believe my colleagues will do justice to others as well. So I just want to leave some so that we have something to discuss. So the first one we'll be looking at is the rotating parts. So even slow moving equipment or slow rotating equipment have also hazards associated with them, because when a loose item gets in contact with this slow moving part, it can gradually draw the person, even the hands or the arms can get in contact with these machines, and which can lead to other unexpected or other unforeseen issues. Okay, so the other one is the rotating parts, like the shafts, those wheels. So those rotating parts, they can come, they rotate close to each other and in opposite directions. And when this happens, the stalks fed in between the two rows can lead to running mills and calendars. So it can keep the body part in between them, and as a result can grind that body parts that comes in between these running parts. And this is one way that an injury can result from this equipment. So another one is the reciprocating side of the hazard. This is a form of a back and forth motion, like bending stationary tables. So if an item or a work piece that needs to be bended is put in place, it has to go forth and back to achieve what is required. So in this process, the item or the workpiece can hit back the worker or the operator. So this can also cause injury. Okay, so this is exactly where I want to stop in the hazardous part of the machines, and I'm sure that others will add to the discussion. So thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to hearing from others. Okay, Mr. Tayab, go ahead. Tayab, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much for giving me uh, time and for valuable participation and contribution from my side. So here I will discuss first about the machinery hazards. What kind of machinery hazards actually a worker can face on workplace? That will include all of these, which includes crushing, shearing, cutting or shearing, entanglement, drawing in or trapping, impact, stabbing or puncturing, friction or abrasions, and high pressure fluid injections. These are all mechanical hazards a worker can face at a workplace on daily basis activities. So what is crushing? Actually, the crushing means the body is trapped between two moving parts or one moving part and fixed objects. This is called crushing. And shearing, what is shearing? Shearing, a part of the body is trapped between two parts of the machine, one moving part, the other with some speeds. Effect is like as a guillotine shearing of the trap bodies, as you discussed, the moving parts and the reciprocating parts of the machines. These can create much more hazardous activities for the workers. And also about the mechanical part. Cutting or severing. Cutting or severing means contact is made with a moving sharp edge part such as blades and the blade of bent saws. And the next one is more about the entanglement. Means if a worker wear a loose items such as clothing or hair get caught on a rotating machine part, the person is wound up onto the machine. This will be called entanglements. So these are the list of the mechanical hazards actually the worker encounter at the workplace on daily basis. So this is about mechanical hazards may be occurred while working on the workplaces. And also about there is also exist a non-mechanical hazards as well, which may be encountered as electricity, noise, vibration, hazardous substances, and ionizing radiations, and much more. Slip, trips, and falls, and fire and explosion, and ergonomics. So these are all the list of the mechanical hazards and non-mechanical hazards which are being faced by the worker on daily basis at the workplace. And the one thing more about the discussion, I have it. Yes. How can we prevent and implement the control measures to mitigate the risk as much as lowest possible? So we oftenly follow the procedures such as I have listed in the slides, the control measures and safeguarding methods. relevant to the machineries and before taking any kind of risk assessment and implementing the control measures. So there are a lot of machineries exist, and according to their types of machinery, we applied these three and four, like as a machinery safeguard method. And fixed safeguards, interlock safeguards, adjustable and self-adjusting safeguards, and
Check your
tripping.
slides. We are not
Uh,
seeing the control measures.
you are not. Okay, okay, okay,
We
okay.
can only see
Just.
mechanical hazard. Just click on the slide you want to. Mechanical hazard is what is displaying. So click on the control measures. Yes, it's there now. Go ahead. You unmute. Type, please unmute yourself.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. No, no. My voice is hearing to you.
Yes, I
Audible.
can
I'm
hear you.
audible to you.
Yes, it's audible. Go
Yes,
ahead.
yes. According to machinery requirements, we applied. These are four guarding methods: fixed, interlocked, adjustable, and tripping. And machinery safeguarding methods includes here is the list: fixed guards, interlocked guards, adjustable and sensitive protective, two-hand control locked, hold to run control, emergency stop controls, protective appliances, and personal protective equipments. Information, instruction, training, and supervision is also helpful for implementing the safeguard methods in order to mitigate the risk as low as reasonable practicable. Further, I will discuss about the try to prevent completely access to dangerous part of the machine and try to fix it at place of the machine. Require a tool for the removal like the limitations. So here is the picture. If a machine working without this guard, it might create hazard and much more risk for the worker who are being exposed to such kind of machinery equipment. So we applied the fixed guards and try to mitigate the risk and avoid the hazardous material. And further about the interlock guards, guard open and guard closed. And power to the machine is disabled when the guard is open, means when the guard will be open, automatically it will indicate nobody have to be at place for to work with the machines, and it will not operate until the guard in place. Further, guard closed, the guard is locked shut until the machine has returned to safe conditions. Means the guard must be intact until the act of the opening the guard stops the dangerous part of the machinery and disables power. And the next one is about the interlock guards, means limitations can be bypass the system. So it will be the risky, but we try to mitigate the risk. So in view of the risk mitigation, we use this as well on the machines. Person may again access by closing the guard around them. So needs rule to be enforced before implementing interlock guards. Further about adjustable and self-adjusting guards. Adjustable guards set manually to range of positions by the operator. Means according to the operator positions, it will automatically arrange their positions to stop. And self-adjusting guards usually spring loaded to adjust itself to the workpiece, require no adjustment by the operator. Means it will adjust itself to avoid the hazard and risk and their severe consequences as indicated in the picture here below. And further about the sensitive protective equipment, trip devices we will also using on the machines. use sensors to detect presence of the operator and stop the machines, and they include pressure mats, trip bars, photoelectric devices, and much more other about the sensing and sensors and Internet of Things and IoTs are nowadays implemented in the industrial sectors for the process improvement. And further about the two-hand control. So there is a much more list of the controls we implemented at the industry for machinery and also for protection of the life-saving procedures. So that's all about it, about the control measures. And now further I will discuss a little bit about mm, uh, yes. So this is everything from my side, and thank you very much for giving me opportunity for the contribution.
Thank you very much, Engineer Taya. Thank you for sharing that wonderful piece with us. So we appreciate your time in this workshop from the beginning. So we'll give room for others to contribute before we call it a day. So anybody that wants to contribute, just go ahead and unmute and share your experience.
Yes, I will try to add further. We can add further control measures, like as considering safe system of the work, we use permit to work and under supervision of the machine operators must be worked and highly competitive and competent person and use signage and PPs. These are the control measures we will try to implement at the workplace to mitigate the risk. And further, we can use LUTO training and legal compliances and manufacturer recommendations, maintenance as well, and development of standard operating procedures for the machinery operations. So these are all the procedures and SOPs and control measures implemented to mitigate the risk and avoid the hazard as much as low and reasonable practicable within the permissible limit. So we try to prevent access to dangerous part of the machine by utilizing the experiences and these safeguarding procedures and control measures. So that's all about it.
Thank you again. Thank you once more, Engineer Tayab. So do you have any other person that wants to contribute?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mojen.
How's work, sir?
Thank God.
Yes, sir. I say I really appreciate the fact that the Safeoclock is such a dynamic program now, because now I can see not just one person making presentation, but two people from different end making representation. It's a commendable thing. It makes it a bit dynamic, and it makes it more interesting because people can come and talk from different ends. Really appreciate that. Well, I want to say guards. The use of guards in machine cannot be overemphasized. For those that work in construction, you find out that guards are such things that when you don't put in machines, you expose your workers to dangerous parts of machines. And what happens? Someone can get himself injured. I've seen where a lack of guards on a grinder resulted to serious cuts. Imagine a disc, a cutting disc breaking. What happens? It makes its way direct to the person's face. Imagine a person, even when you are having a what they call it now, a face shield on. Sometimes these face shields are not able to contain the cut out from this disc. So it's such a wonderful topic, and it's something that we should implement in our place of work. Implementing, controlling usage of before work starts, even the mobilization stage of contracts, projects. these things ought to be put in place, because if it's not put in place, the client should not be allowed to work. Very important, because most time you find out that the projects involve a timeline. The contractor would have said, yes, within so and so time I want to complete the job, and when the job starts, there's no even room based on how our people operate. There may not be even room to go back to safety. So for that fact, it means that these things ought to be put in place before the project even starts, when you consider the nature of some of our contractors. So gas are very important in machines. So we ensure that these things are running when projects are on, and even before the commencement of the job. The necessary things needed to put this thing in control. Usage of work permits, in terms of permits ought to be put in place when hot work. So because in the hot work permit, all these things are being spelled out, risk assessment, these things are being spelled out. So we ensure that these things are put in place before the commencement of jobs, and we'll make sure that all workers are also briefed in the GSA. And this is what most contractors don't do. They feel that reviewing GSA is something that can bring about lost time for themselves. But it's a wrong concept that contractors should have in mind. You understand? So reviewing GSA is very critical in adhering to safety. A stepwise analysis of the procedures ought to be done and reviewed by the workforce, such that all workers get abreast with what is the precautions needed to safely execute the job. Now, they ought to be told, and there ought to be a response from them. It's not just you bringing out the GSC and reeling it out and telling them do this and do that. They ought to talk back to you that they really understand, of which we know a colonial form is always put at the back of it, to ensure that these things, their names are being put down, to show that they really were briefed. GSC was really done. They really were briefed for this task or for this work that they ought to do. So those are the few things that I've got to contribute. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Model, for that wonderful contribution. And you have a lot of points that we knowingly or unknowingly missed out. So that is very interesting and part of this discussion idea. So you have thought about training. So the need for training cannot be overemphasized, especially the operators. It's not everybody that comes on that is allowed to operate these machines. So we, the health and safety team, we should do all that is necessary to confirm that the operator is competent enough. All the necessary certifications and records that will prove that he's competent enough before he's allowed to operate any of those equipment with high risk. So we should ensure that operators are properly trained and are competent to operate those equipment. That is one thing. Another experience I want to share is in one of my previous projects, there was a new contractor that came to site with a mobile portable generator. Okay, and this generator, you know, the parts where it used to be started with a rope and that. So that rotating moving part. So that side was open. Okay, so the idea, when they want to start it, they will run the cable or the coil around that rotating piece and draw it to start. So we told them that this is wrong and we cannot accept this because it's a rotating part and it's going to be open. So there is risk of drawing in and entanglement. All those things could happen no matter how small it is. So that is, even though it's a small mobile generator or small equipment, but as far as there is risk of entanglement, drawing in, so all those we should not overlook it, no matter how small the machine is. Okay, so that is the experience I want to share. So can we hear from others? Anyone that wants to contribute?
Hello, sir. Just one more thing I want to say. You know, some people feel that use of PPE is the highest. For safety professionals, it's good that we advise that PPE is the last resort to prevent against hazards. Why did I say so? Imagine somebody grinding and you're having a face shield on, feeling that because of your face shield, you can contain a breakout of a disc. Now, far be it from it, because a disc that's winding with a very high speed, if there's any breakout or if there's any cut, it makes its way directly, even cutting the disc, even getting to your eyes. So those face shields, it's not enough to contain the speed of this rotating equipment. I know what I'm talking about because I have seen where a cut out disc injure somebody. The tear was very deep, very severe. Imagine somebody exposing his head to such a rotating disc and it cuts. What happens? It makes its way straight, and you even have cases where people they have been taken to hospitals, rushed to the hospital because of such things. So face shield should not be something, or PPE should not be something that we should be our ultimate. And this kind of information is always spread out to contractors in I would say in third world countries, because that's what they always feel, that they can use any machine they like, they can do anything they like because their workers are wearing PPE. That is a very wrong notion, very wrong concept. We have to denounce such a concept in these third world countries and countries that are still managing in terms of safety and health. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is a very good point there. PPE should always be last resort. Machine guards and protecting devices should be in place, even if you have PPE. So that point is well clear and well noted. Do we have any other person that wants to contribute?
Yes, machine guarding for the moving parts also try to prevent the drawing in and entanglement and impact as far as possible. And emergency stop button is also playing a crucial role for life saving, and also pull cords must be fitted on the machines and available for the use. This will also help to prevent any kind of severe kind of injuries and initial injuries, and maybe the risk for the severe consequences may be mitigated as early as possible by using all these safeguarding, emergency stop button and pull cords, using also at conveyor and at machines and barriers to exclude people from the areas from where the falling jet may be possible fall on some kind of person who are working. You can use the safety nets and also barrier and barricade areas. Maybe we can fit the guards underneath the conveyors and machines to protect the falling objects from the workers. And also information, instruction and training for the operator is also helpful to prevent the any kind of incidents and highly riskable consequences at the workplace. So these things also might be helpful. So I try to participate at my optimal level. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Tayo. Thank you for that additional contribution. I want to reiterate on the need for emergency stop button, because even with all these measures in place, with all trainings, with everything, something can unintentionally go wrong. And if there is no emergency procedure in place, then there will be no reactive measures that will help to reduce the consequences, just like Engineer Tayyab said. So we should ensure that when we are putting all the proactive measures in place, putting the machine guards, training, all these measures in place, so emergency response procedures and plans should also be in place, communicated, and ensure that everybody, especially the operators and the helpers, are aware of these emergency response procedures, how to stop this equipment on an emergency situation, and how to rescue somebody who has been trapped or maybe who has been affected by this machine operation. So emergency response procedure is very, very important. All right, thank you very much for that contribution. Do we have someone else that wants to add something before we close?
Yes, some short breaks for the operator is also be recommended for the mental well-being and to be get higher productivity and performance improvement. Frequent breaks, shift rotations, and further about the rest means if a person will be mentally free and can work without stress more as compared to the maybe there are stressors like as noise, vibrations, and heart temperature, and maybe we can apply ventilations, unsafe conditions, and uh, unsafe act also be considerable while working at the workplace. These kind of techniques might be helpful in addition to the emergency response and prevent the risk at beginning at the very inception level. So that's all about it, about the safety procedures and protocols. Uh, Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, Mr.
All right. Yeah, I want to say that, like I earlier said, it's a very insightful topic, and everyone has actually um, alighted and enumerated on the basic uh, points associated with the hazards and control for machine guarding. However, I just want to contribute this. One of the hazard that was mentioned, or the operating function of the machine guarding it talked about, was rotating, right? Rotating motions. So when we talk about the rotating aspect, some of these machines has their ROPM, so revolution per motion. So we need to be very careful by ensuring we do thorough inspection by checking the RPM of the machine and that of the disk. So the RPM for the disk should be higher than that of the machine. All right, because of the revolution, the speed. So if the RPM for the machine is higher than the disk, it can easily, due to the speed rotation, it can cause it to shatter. So it's very important that whenever we are using a disk, for a rotating power machine, we also check that the RPM of the disk is greater than that of the machine. And also checking the viability of the disk is also something critical to look at. And secondly, the earthing and or grinding of the machine is also very important to prevent any static spark, static electricity that could lead to a spark. Maybe sometimes you're working in a flammable atmosphere that could also result to, fire and explosion. This is just my own contribution. Other than this, every other thing has been really, really treated in details. I'm glad I meeting. I'm getting a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. David, for that wonderful contribution. I like the way you contribute. You take your time and gather all the points, then you look at the points that we didn't touch clearly and you re-emphasize on it. So thank you very much for reminding us about the RPM of the machine and the disk. That is very, very important. And it's one of the reasons why some disk break, because if the RPM is not, they are not compatible, so it will result in negative outcome. So thank you very much for that re-emphasizing. You want to say something? Okay, David Kata, go ahead.
Yes, good evening. I have been trying to get an opportunity to say something, but there are lots of contributions coming from different directions. Well, it's a very insightful topic and very interesting one as well. But one point we should consider is also the safe working posture. I have found scenarios where someone was operating an angle grinder, a 9-inch angle grinder, trying to cut steel where they are making the raft foundation. He was trying to cut steel, and due to the environment he's working, he slipped on his leg got trapped in between the steel and he fell. And when he fell, the machine cut some part of his leg. So sometimes, even with the guards and everything in place, the working environment has to be safe for us to accomplish the objective. So the safe working environment, the safe working posture, all these factors will also help to save in the event of an accident or an incident at site. So those factors are also very, very important. That's my own contribution.
Thank you very much, Mr. David. That is a very wonderful contribution. Because if we have all these guards and all these engineering control measures in place and the environment is unsafe, it can contribute to incident as well, just like in the example and the experience you shared. So thank you very much for that wonderful insight you shared. We really appreciate. So I think we have all exhausted our points. So just to reiterate, the machine guiding phenomena is just to ensure that there is proper separation between the equipment and the operator. So with the operator properly protected from the rotating and the hazardous parts, then he can do his job safely and there will be no incident. So thank you all for this wonderful contribution you've made today. And next week, we continue with another interesting topic. So guys, thank you and I appreciate.
Thank you, Mr.
David. Thank you, Sammy. Engineer Tayab, thank you for that slide and those contributions. Amajode, I thank you also. Mr. Ismail, thank you for coming as well. So see you guys next week.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.